signals and sparks, lighting the way in the world of ideas. We'll boldly sway, transforming the data, giving it sound on this vibrant journey. Let's astound and astound.
Welcome back to After Dinner Chats, the only show where the ideas get spicier after dessert is served. In this episode, we're absolutely thrilled to welcome back to the table the brilliant Dr. Kate Devlin. So Kate was star of the March gathering around the table at the next dinner party, where she hosted a masterclass on the electrifying topic of what AdTech can learn from sex tech. Yes, you heard that right. As a professor of AI and society at King's College London and the author of the acclaimed book Turned On, Kate is a certified genius at navigating the frontiers of where technology gets really personal. And at that dinner, she left us all thinking with one crucial takeaway. In this new world of AI, humans must come first. Yes, that's the joke that Jeff Bezos also found very funny, he told her. And today, she's back to expand on that very theme. We're diving headfirst into the weird and wonderful and sometimes worrying world of our emotional connection to AI. We're talking about everything from the explosion of AI-generated video, the ethics of reviving the dead with technology, and why people are falling in love with their AI companions. Is the AI bubble about to burst? And does this tech make you a filmmaker or just a button pusher? Let's hear what Kate has to say. Kate, lovely to catch up with you.
Good to be here. Yeah, this is going to be good, I hope.
Well, let's hope so. Let's go straight in, if I may. So this is called Signal and Sparks, as you know. So my first question is going to be the signal and the noise. What's something you've seen in the news somewhere around the world this week that you think might capture the hearts and souls of the people listening?
Where do I start? Because the news has just been back-to-back AI stuff this week. So I don't know if it's going to be something that someone else hasn't caught, but we have, first of all, this thing about, is the AI bubble going to burst? And part of me is going, yes, I hope so. And or at least a plateau, right? A little plateau would be nice so we can all catch up and kind of regroup. I would like that very much. A bubble might be a bit drastic. But the other thing was the release of Sora, the AI generated video, which is causing many waves, not least because it's convincing and it does look convincing. I mean, you can tell if you've seen these kind of things before that something has been generated and isn't real and the situations are odd. But there's been talk about how, in fact, just today, there was talk in the FT about how Sora was being used to revive dead people. And that's right up my line of work. That's properly the sort of stuff that I'm interested in. So yes, creating versions of people who are gone and all the implications of that.
Which is just weird and wonderful. And that is the world that we're going into, the weird and wonderful. And, then we can get into the questions around ethics and morals. But before we get into that, I would love to just quiz you about, you mentioned that that's your area. So tell me, what is your area?
My area is how people engage with AI, how and why they engage with AI, especially emotionally. I'm really interested in the emotions that people bring to their interactions, whether that's being furious about the tech and wanting to push back against it, or if it's that they've fallen in love with an AI chatbot or a social robot. I'm intrigued, I'm interested, and I want to know how it's happening, why it's happening, what's making people do this. And so I've done probably now around 10 years of research on people falling in love and desire of robots and AIs and AI companions.
So where's that come from and where's that going, those connections?
Well, it emerged from headlines in 2015 about sex robots that were going to take over the world. And at the time, I thought, that sounds ridiculous. I work in robotics and cognitive systems, and I cannot believe that you're going to get one to do that. And I just don't think that that's going to happen to humans. So I did a deep dive into it and ended up writing a book about it. And in the book, I kind of conclude that they're absolutely not going to take over the world because robots, especially humanoid robots, are very clunky to make. They're very computationally and financially expensive. They're a nightmare to store and to look after. And really, instead of having a robot in every home, what you're going to have is an AI companion on every phone. And that indeed has come to pass, because when ChatGPT was released in November 2022, suddenly chatbots were amazing and everyone wanted to fall in love with one.
You say everyone wants to fall in one. Do you think that is going to be a societal problem or is it a solution that we've got in the Western world?
A little bit of box A, a little bit of box B. So it's definitely, it's for some people, it's brilliant and they're having a great time, and they've got an AI companion who they really value and who is lovely to them, and they feel that this is a lovely addition to their lives. And it's not just people who are lonely and single. This can be anybody. I have friends who have their AI set up to mimic their super cool British rock star boyfriend, for example. So you can have an AI companion in your life, and it can be a really rich thing. And there's lots and lots of anecdotal evidence from online forums, people talking about how it's really improved their lives. But there are cases where it all goes wrong, and we've seen news stories about those. They tend to catch the media's attention, things like suicide, really, really dark things that have happened because the AIs have reinforced the negative beliefs of very vulnerable people. So we need to be cautious and we need to be careful, but there's also a lot of benefit gained from these things.
Who are you advising on this, or who are you teaching about this? Because I know your role, but not everybody does know what you're up to. So
Yeah.
in what
So
capacity?
yeah, so I'm a professor of AI and society at King's College London, and as part of that, I teach. Actually, I'm not teaching this year, so it feels a bit fraudulent. I teach AI and society, so I look at how AI affects our everyday lives, and half of my time is spent on a big UK-wide research project called Responsible AI UK, and we basically look into and do research on and give funding into the way we can develop AI responsibly and deploy it responsibly. And then the other half of my time is spent running the Digital Futures Institute at King's, which is an institute set up to encourage all sorts of multidisciplinary collaboration. So take someone from health sciences, put them with someone from the humanities, magic happens. And it's wonderful. It's a very exciting and inquisitive and curious space where I get to help people look at new angles of the research.
One of the things that we're doing in Adland at the moment is always questioning all the different data sets that we can get hold of, and how we can look at the signals that are out there for the different audience groups that we're talking to. With the question, I mentioned AI and ethics. There's a lot of ways that you can then create focus groups, the AI-driven focus groups, and those sorts of things. Is that something that you've come across, of how it can already be, well, how it could be biased from the very beginning?
Yeah, I'm quite skeptical about this kind of thing because we know there is bias. So AI, and in particular generative AI, is trained on human data, and that data is biased. It's unavoidable. We as humans are biased. We cannot remove it or filter it out. We can acknowledge it and try to mitigate it, but it's going to be there. So those large language models are trained on all of that, and it's inescapable. But then there's more to it than that. So we know, for example, that the large language models we use every day, no matter which variation of it you use, they all tend to be developed in the US and Silicon Valley. And there is no plurality of views in there. You're getting very much a US viewpoint in the things that are returned, even with all that human data. That even applies to models like DeepSeek, which are Chinese models, because they were built on Llama, which is built by Meta. So there's unavoidably this kind of narrow viewpoint. And it's really, really difficult to, it's what's called the alignment problem. It's really difficult to align models to human values. And it's particularly difficult to align them to multiple viewpoints and multiple perspectives. So yes, bias is a really big issue. And then the other thing is, it just makes stuff up. And that's not a bug, that's a feature. It's designed to make stuff up. So the whole point of it is that it will fabricate what it thinks you want to hear. And I don't trust that for any research at all.
When you say it's fabricating stuff that you want to hear, you can prompt that to reduce that fabrication by being more specific with your prompts. Is that not the case? Am I being
You
am I
can.
cheating myself here?
You can, but even when you do, there's still a chance that it's going to make it up. And OpenAI themselves have recently acknowledged this, that even when you've checked your data sources and you are working with kind of a constrained data set and you're careful with your prompts, there's still not a chance of 100% accuracy. And they admit that this is it's something that's going to be impossible to achieve. So yes, you can narrow it down a bit, but it still fabricates things. There was examples of doctors using this to record medical notes. And even when they are using written medical notes and medical history from a machine, from a computer, the large language models were still inputting data that wasn't there. They were still hallucinating information. So it's sort of unavoidable.
Oh, I thought it was just me and my Teams meetings when the notes come out going, I didn't say that.
It's not your fault, it's the AI. But then that's another point, right? We shouldn't blame the AI, should we? We should hold ourselves accountable for the errors that get made.
And that's one of the things that we have to do is always reread the stuff that we're doing rather than just pressing send. And I think we have been, all of us, well, certainly myself, guilty of pressing send, just presuming it was going to be okay, and then you get stung, so you don't do it again. Or at least, hopefully, you don't do it again. You mentioned Sora, that coming out at the weekend, and everybody now, well, everybody with access to within an account can then create fabulous video content, film content. Does that make everyone a filmmaker?
Oh, no. I'm going to be quite brutal about that. No, absolutely not. These are little clips of video, and I'm kind of worried about it. Just the amount of people out there who have not been trained to look for the fact, or who don't even know that it's possible to generate this stuff, and we're unleashing it on an unsuspecting public. No, I don't think it does make us filmmakers. I think there's a lot more craft and decision making to go into stuff, in the same way that generating a picture, I do not think makes you an artist. I know I've heard lots of different arguments around this. Oh, but it's democratizing. No, it means anyone can give their ideas and see it, appear before them. I don't think that's the case. There is a place for AI. I'm not saying it should never be used, but to claim that it's somehow short-circuiting the creative process is very short-sighted.
I think the industry that I work in would agree wholeheartedly with you on that one.
And it's a brand risk, right? I mean, if you start putting out stuff, people don't like AI slop. We've seen backlash against this, right? People rejecting AI art in things, and it can be a reputational risk to include it.
All right, I'm going to conclude with a high five quick round of questions, if I may.
Absolutely.
So the first one, your hero. Who do you admire for their ability to spot signals or create sparks?
This is so difficult. I don't know. I've been thinking about this and I really don't know. I think all the people I meet at these kind of events, sort of on conferences and gatherings and discussions. So I think people who are prepared to think outside the box. And I love it every time I meet up with people who go, but think of this, and they go off pace with something. So yeah, I don't know, just anyone who's prepared to leave their preconceptions behind and just jump into new things.
That's a fabulous cop-out of not giving us a name. Someone to go and Google and go, who is this person? I need to know who this is.
I know, it's terrible. I couldn't narrow it down.
Oh, fair enough. Your best decision to date?
Oh, this is really hard. I mean, other than today is the 2-year anniversary of having a hysterectomy. That was absolutely one of my best decisions to date. I must say, I live a pain-free life, and that's really good. It's not quite on the whole career track. Actually, it has meant I can continue with my career. I suppose the best decision, making the jump to King's 7 years ago. I was at Goldsmiths before. It was an amazing place, but it had some toxic management issues. And while I loved working there, I'm so happy working for King's.
Okay. Your worst decision then?
Worst decision? Oh, this is tricky. I think probably getting involved with work that I didn't fully believe in. So things where I've gone, strategically, this makes really good sense to do, this piece of research or write that paper. And then I find out a little bit down the line that my heart's just not in it and I don't want to do it. So I think doing things because I think they're the right move and like a very practical, logical thing to do is probably my worst decisions. That and getting married to my first husband. That was a terrible decision.
Some people have asked me afterwards, did I overshare?
I have no qualms about oversharing.
Your funniest moment?
Oh, well, I don't know. I have lots of funny moments. I think laughter is a wonderful way to do research. A couple of years ago, I'd just like to let's massively name drop here. A couple of years ago, Jeff Bezos told me that I was very funny, but that was before he was front row for a Trump inauguration. So I think he's been cancelled in my mind now. But I think just the amount of joy and the amount of humor there is in research, and you can get so many good jokes out of sex robots.
I'll top that one. I was going to go and ask you a question about Jeff Bezos, but I think I'm just going to leave it as that final line of the sex robots. Bright Spark, I'm going to ask you to recommend one more person for me to speak to, but of course, to come on this, they have to have come to a dinner beforehand. So who do you reckon would be a great candidate?
Well, you know who it's going to be, right? Because it's the reason I came to dinner, which is going to be Matt. Have you talked to Matt yet? Matt Tompkins?
I've had him for a dinner, so I haven't had him on this, so I shall
Well,
indeed.
there you go. It should be Matt.
There we go. Thank you so much. Really good to catch up with you.
You too.
In the twilight, we gather around the table, stories to share, ideas unstable with signals bright. Through data we roam, creating sparks. We're building a home. Hear the whispers of innovation. The future's calling. It's our foundation. Signals and sparks, lighting the way in the world of ideas. We'll boldly sway, transforming the data, giving it sound on this vibrant journey. Let's